My farm broke, and it was infuriating. I'm not going to lie, we have an automatic villager farm that just got us infinite amount of potatoes, and then one day the collection system on it suddenly broke, and it kind of got me head scratching. Although we can go through and fix the collection on it, it just made more sense to come up with something more versatile that will probably stand the test of time, so I don't have to keep on repairing this farm every time a new update drops. So as you can see, the villagers just used to throw it to each other, and it would get caught in the hoppers instead, and then filter through into chests. However, as you can see, we're now rocking the minecart system because this is so much easier with an automatic offloader, and then we can send it off on tracks all around our kind of settlement because our place is absolutely massive nowadays. The minecart just goes round underneath as it's a hopper one, and it will collect up the potatoes and chuck them in. This is going to work for literally any items that are physically dropped in game, be that for a bamboo farm like we got down the other side, so some nice automatic wood, or indeed if you're just farming anything in particular. I'll quickly go over how you make the automatic offloader in the second half of the video, and then we'll just show the basic track setup just for anyone who is just trying to get a rough idea of how to do this sort of thing. It's not overly complicated at all, it's really straightforward. You might need a fair amount of iron, so if you haven't got a lot of that stacked up, you might have to go along and grab some, but this system is used also underneath the sniffers temporarily until we get the armadillos moving in above. It's literally just going to stay using this, and it's really just useful because you can go off to whatever you want in the world, and as long as you're in a close enough radius, it's going to automatically farm away these few and store them in chests. The hopper minecart is really quite straightforward. As long as you have powered rail spaced sufficiently along it, it will just travel along, and once it reaches a solid block at the end, just make sure a powered rail is placed before it so it bounces it back the other way with enough force that it can at least travel. Otherwise, it will just hit the block and get stuck. Well, it does that on bedrock anyway. What we're going to do, just for the purpose of showing you this and then getting the automatic offloader built, is just the most basic farm you're going to have ever seen in the whole wide world, to the point we're not even actually going to farm, we're just going to pick the seeds up again at the end because I couldn't be bothered to wait for ages. But yes, we're going to use our imagination, and we'll pretend this is your really cool farm. It's just dropping stuff on the floor, or your villagers are just dropping stuff on the floor and you want to pick it up, and what you've done is you've already built a minecart system underneath, or you've gone one block below like we have here and you've built it in afterwards, which is what I had to do on one of them. So we're just going to place down a double chest, and you want a hopper feeding into the back of that, and then a hopper then feeding into the back of that hopper. You want to have a solid block just floating in the air like that, and underneath it we're going to have a comparator reading into the back hopper. Then place another solid block behind it, because on top of that is going to be a redstone torch, and on top of that redstone torch we're going to place yet another block of our bamboo, just so that signal makes sure it carries properly, and then we have a bit of redstone dust on top of the block that you can see there. So, place two powered rails down on top of it. I actually place a third just to make sure it goes up. Powered rails are sometimes really funky for me, but once it's looking like that, you can just complete your track system and link it up however you like. The idea of this is when the minecart goes on top of it, one with a hopper anyway, it's going to pause until it's offloaded everything into the chest, and then it will be slingshot back on its way around the farm. Now, this didn't quite go how I was expecting it to. I didn't really think this through. In hindsight, I should just drop loads of stuff on top. But, you know, we've got some seeds, which is important. If you want to make this an on-off switch, you can literally just place a powered rail as long as it's at a slant like that, so that when you turn it back on, the minecart can sling itself underneath and start picking up all the items that you want. And as you can see, they're all just going to start disappearing, and that is absolutely lovely because they're all within our minecart chest, which is on its way back now to our offloader station. So you'll see how this works in action. It's really quite straightforward. On it goes, and it will just be held there whilst the comparator reads it's got items in it, and then as soon as it has the redstone signal, we'll be back and it will be sent on its way. However, the cow decided to get in the way a little bit here, so just to prove that the cow didn't send it on its way, here it is, blank fully again, few items in it, and off it goes. That's literally all there is to it, folks. It's what I use on all my collections nowadays. It's just nice and straightforward. Yes, you could use a lathe, but what's the fun in that when you can have a train track? Until next time, folks, have a lovely day.